God is good, and the Final Fantasy VII demo is available. If you have internet and you have a PS4, you can go to the PlayStation Store and download it for free right now. It is fully available, and it's the first chapter of the game. Basically, the first Mako reactor explosion espionage mission, if you remember that from the original. That and the thing about it is as expected, there's a lot of additional scenes, a lot more dialogue. There's a lot more secrets. It's been fine-tuned just like you might imagine they would do in a reimagining of Final Fantasy VII, and it's awesome. So what are you listening to this video for? You can go download that right now, but for those of you who want to stick around and hear my impression, here it is. I thought it was great. I thought it was a ton of fun. It was action-packed. It was very cinematic. The music was on point, definitely. It's one of those things where the music was like how I remember the game being, except for obviously it's better than it was back then. But you know, when you look back at games sometimes, now I played it recently, when you look back at a game, it's like, yeah, this is exactly what it was like, but actually it's a lot better. The combat, I gotta talk about that because this is a major change. As you probably know, Final Fantasy VII, the original on the PS1, that game was turn-based, and it was one of the best turn-based JRPGs, at least ever, in my opinion. One of the best. Just classic, no frills, just classic turn-based, awesome combat. I loved it. Well, in this game, I gotta admit that when you actually play the system that they've designed, it does still have enough of that turn-based kind of feeling, because basically you've got your attack, and then when you press X on the PlayStation, it opens up the menu. Everything kind of stops, and you can select that you want to do a spell or pick an ability or an item. You can also hold R1 in order to pull up another character and issue commands to them. So it feels right. It feels like a Final Fantasy turn-based game, but with some action and more strategy as far as where you are, dodging, blocking, doing counters, all that kind of stuff. Cloud also has a stance he can do now, where when you press triangle, basically he goes into like a super powerful mode where he does a lot more damage, but he moves super slow. So it's one of those things where you can jump into it real quick and get out a couple of hits. If you played Final Fantasy 15, you may remember the stagger kind of thing. I think they've done it, I think that was also in Final Fantasy 13 if I'm not mistaken. Basically, it's where if you do burst damage or hit a weakness on that enemy, it staggers them, they can fall, and you can do some massive damage, and you can go into that stance with Cloud and just really whip out some really massive damage real quick while they're down. And there's lots of other strategical ways to use all the various things and abilities and magic available in the game. What I did find interesting, though, was that you can't just spam items. You need to build up a little bit of your bar first in order to actually do anything from the action menu where you press X and it opens up the menu. You can't just spam potions or spam anything. You got to go in and get some attacks off or get some blocks or dodges and stuff to build that up a little bit in order to do anything. You can also switch on the fly between characters whenever you want. Super easy, super intuitive, and basically just switch around. In the demo, you really only get to play with Cloud and Barret in a party together. There's the other members of Avalanche are with you, but they're not really part of the battles. It's really just you and Barret. There's times where you're just Cloud as well during the demo. A lot of fun, though. Definitely worth checking out, and I'm impressed with the battle system because it felt right. It just felt good. So I got hats off to Square Enix, because I would have just preferred they went straight with the turn-based. I love turn-based JRPGs, but you know, whatever. I'm old and nobody cares about my opinion. Well, I guess you do because you're still here listening. But anyway, the demo was great. So the graphics, of course, top-notch. I mean, I can't wait to see what this game looks like later on when it launches on PC. Because on the PS4, and I've got a PS4 Pro, whatever, and it looked good, man. It looked really good. Resident Evil 2 Remake good. You know, it looked awesome. I caught myself, you know, wanting to see everything and really taking in the sights. Now, as you may know, this particular part of this game, which is the very beginning of the game, basically, it's very linear. Now, there are a couple of spots where you can kind of go off the beaten trail a little bit, but it is linear, okay? And to be honest, this was kind of the tutorial, kind of learning how the game works kind of thing, and getting a feel for the game. However, do not think that first actual boss that you fight, that I'm showing in the video now, do not think he's a pushover. So I played in normal. There's an option for easy, and then there was a classic mode, which is kind of a throwback to the original turn-based system, like we were talking about earlier. I haven't tried that yet, but apparently it's the easy mode of the game, but also it's turn-based. So if you really you're that die-hard person, you just have to play turn-based, which I kind of feel ya. I'm gonna definitely replay it that way, and I'll make a video about how that plays out with the classic version. But anyway, and then normal. So I did play in normal, and you know, he was difficult, man. It was a pretty long fight. It went on for quite a while. He has different stages, like you would expect, you know, different phases that you got to go through, like any good Final Fantasy boss has. And the strategies change with that. And there was even some raid type mechanics where you had to, you know, when he powered up his laser, you had to get behind the pillars. It would one-shot you. Some really cool stuff, man. I was really impressed. I really liked it. I had a ton of fun. I mean, if you've got a PS4, there's, you know, it's free. There's no excuse. Go download the game. I guarantee you'll have a blast. And it's very action-packed. Like I said, there's a point in the game where, or in the demo, where you have to escape quickly. And that part was in the original game as well, but it felt way more intense. You know, the reactor's falling apart, and there's, you know, stuff falling on top of you, and you're sliding and gliding and hopping across, and time's running out. There's bad guys you gotta fight, and they're wasting your time, even mini bosses. It's awesome. And if this is the kind of quality we can expect for all of the Final Fantasy VII Remake, then I think we're in for a very awesome treat. The music was great, the graphics were great, the story is obviously awesome. It's the same story, just with added dialogue and moments to kind of flesh out the characters, just like I talked about in my last video about Final Fantasy VII. Exactly what you would expect. The controls were solid all the way across the board, very smooth, awesome gameplay. This is definitely, when the game launches, going to be a very replayable game, just like the original was, where it's just fun to revisit and do it again. I'm hoping there's a ton of secrets. I found quite a few in this demo, looking around, you know, so lots of stuff to go there. And hopefully, basically, if I just want the rest of the quality of the game to be as good as this, and I'm pretty sure it will be. This is a big deal, the remake of 7. So guys, go check it out. I give this demo a very high 2 thumbs up. Wonderful game. I can't wait for the release. We only have just a little bit more than a month left from the time it's recording before the game is out. Of course, I'll be playing the crap out of it. I'll stream it. We'll enjoy it together. But until next time, guys, God bless and happy gaming.
Listen to what I say. I've been making videos all day. My friends all say I'm it's a video buffet. You can even hit replay. But please just subscribe. I can't even describe being part of my tribe. I'll even offer you a prize. But just please just subscribe and hit the bell notification too.